وكفى والسلام على عباده الذين اصطفى أما بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قد أفلح من زكاها وقد خاب من دساها وقال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم إنما بعثت لأتمم مكارم الأخلاق سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون السلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد وبارك وسلم اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد وبارك وسلم اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد وبارك وسلم ثم أما بعد. So one thing before we start, as I said, this is a Khanqahi system. This is one of the niyas, one of the intentions was that we are gathered here together as our mashayikh used to gather murideen in their Khanqa. So Khanqa is like a madrasa, with the difference that in madrasa you go and learn the ulum, the knowledge of the outward. In Khanqa you actually learn the knowledge of the inward. Basically, the tarbiyat is done. The tarbiyat is done in the Khanqahi system. So people would travel to their sheikhs and they would spend like days, sometimes months, to actually get their tarbiyat. So please sit with that intention, inshallah. We don't have a true Khanqa, but inshallah ta'ala, Allah ta'ala gives us tawfiq, it's they're all blessings of Allah ta'ala. We ask Allah ta'ala for granting us this blessing as well, along with all the other blessings that He has already given us. So one of the things that I want to highlight, so far, is that, first of all, we should not be talking about vague stuff. Talking is good, baat kare, lekin don't talk about just like things that don't make any sense in terms of that don't benefit you. Aisi bila wajah chacha mamoon, khala tai ki baat karna, what benefit does it bring? My chacha does this and mamoon does this. So please, min husni Islam al-mari, what is that? Tarkuhu la ya'nihi. That is, from the beauty of the Islam of a believer is to leave what does not benefit him at all. And number two, so this is one thing, especially women. I don't know if they're doing it, but I'm sure that they're doing it. So, nobody told me that's what I mean, but I'm 200% certain that they're doing it. So, please, especially women. Two, and all of you who are sitting here, please, we should be, what we are learning is ihsan. We're learning is the excellence in our deen. And excellence in our deen is in everything that what we do. We try to do excellence in everything. So mashallah, people have been using toilets, and also from the women's side as well. People use toilets, and subhanallah, we flood the toilet, we flood the wash basins, subhanallah, there's water all over. Subhanallah, it is not deen. Deen is to make sure that we do everything, with nazafat, with cleanliness, so that the other person who comes next, he doesn't get harmed with that. إِنَّمَا بُئِسْتُ لِأُتَمِّمَ مَكَارِمَ الْأَخْلَاقِ. This is from the makarim al-akhlaq. कि आप पूरा पानी कर दें, अगला बंदा आएगा, वो कैसे use करें? SubhanAllah, it's like as if the flood has come. Noah's flood, Sayyid Nuh al-Islam's flood. Seriously, there's water all over and on the floor. Wuzu karte hain, aise pani aata hai, sab jaise pata nahi kya hua hai. It's bad. It's not from the adab. Please, we should use toilets and we should use wash basins, so that nobody else gets harmed with that. So, first of all, do with adab in any ways, adab to do wudu, so that the water doesn't splash. It's makruh to actually splash water on the face in wudu. It's makruha, it's from the makruhat of wudu. You use it gently, whenever we do wudu, and then make sure that the water just falls within. And of course it will fall around outside as well. But, then wipe it. There are tissue papers. Just wipe it. Wipe everything. And wipe yourself. Wipe the floor. Why can't we just bend down and, just wipe the floor? कोई ego का issue है? What's wrong? Bend down, wipe the floor. right? So don't send the water. This should not be just splashing all over. There was water on the sofa, the water on the carpet, water all over. ये तो आदाब नहीं है. We are human beings. जानवर तो नहीं है हम लोग. Right? We should act like human beings. This is from the Makarim al-Akhlaq. Please. We should try to keep ourselves in a state that nobody gets harmed from us through any means. Right? This is part of the tarbiyat, inshallah. Please. And also not only here. I'm not talking about here only. I'm talking about in general. You go back home, don't do it in your toilets as well. Why do you have to just ask your wife to clean it all the time? She's our wife, not our slave. Khareed ke to nahi laye na usko. Just wipe your wash basins, wipe your floors, make sure that nothing is flooded. Apne bachon ko bhi ye sikhaye. Teach it to your children as well. Okay? Please. This form the Makarim al-Akhlaq. Alright. The next chapter is Bayanu Haqiqati Husn al-Khuluqi wa Su'il Khuluqi. Is the chapter on the haqiqat, the reality of the good character and the bad character. So far what Imam Ghazali rahmatullah alayhi has done is that he has highlighted that how important it is to have good character. All of these ahadith that he has quoted. What was the purpose? The purpose was that, subhanAllah, this is the goal of life. This is the goal of life. This is why we are here. If there's good character, everything is good. If the character is bad, everything is bad. Yani you can do whatever, you can be the best in your worship, you can be best in everything. You wear amama, you have topi, you have beard, you have thobe, you have hijab, you have niqab, you have whatever you have. So whatever you have, but if your ikhlaq is not good, then everything is doomed. Everything is destroyed. Right? That hadith about that woman, she would do everything. Fast during the day, pray during the night, but her tongue was not in control. What did Prophet ﷺ said? La khayra fiha. There is no good in her. Absolutely. So far, Imam Ghazali rahmatullah alayhi, by quoting all of these ahadith and all of the athar of the ulama and the mashayikh and the awliya of Allah, of our ummah, this is what he is saying. That the key, the goal of our life is makarim al-akhlaq, is to perfect noble character. Is to bring that, the nobleness in the character. So now he is saying, Bayanu haqiqati husn al-khuluqi wa su'il khuluqi. The chapter on in reality, what is it? Hai kya acha ikhlaq? What is it? What is it in reality? And what is it in reality, the bad character? So he says, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, اعلم أن الناس قد تكلموا في حقيقة حسن الخلق وأنه ما هو وما تعرضوا لحقيقة وإنما تعرضوا لثمرته ثم لم يستوعبوا جميع ثمراته بل ذكر كل واحد من ثمراته ما خطر له وما كان حاضرا في ذهنه ولم يصرف العناية إلى ذكر حده وحقيقته المحيطة بجميع ثمراته على التفصيل والاستيعاب. He's saying that people have written a lot about good character. But nobody has actually written about that what is in it reality, and what is it in reality. All what they have done, they have actually told about only a few fruits that it bears. That people have written a lot about the good character, but nobody has actually spoken about the reality of it. So what all they have written is that what are the fruits that come out of a good character. And he says that even that, people have not spoken in totality about it. And some ulama have spoken about a few fruits of goodness of the character. The others have spoken about the other fruits of the goodness of character. But it's nobody who has actually written all of the fruits together as to what does it bring. But he says that even if they have done it, this is not what we want to know. What we want to know is that what in reality is good character. What is in reality the good character? So he says that I'll try to do this. He says, I will try to talk about the reality of the good character. And he says that some of the people who have spoken about the fruits of good character are like كَقَوْلِ الْحَسَنِ, like the saying of Sayyidina Hasan Basri rahimahullah ta'ala. He says that الْخُلُقُ بَسْطُ الْوَجْهِ وَبَذْلُ النَّدَى وَكُفُّ الْعَدَى. He says that, for example, Sayyidina Hasan Basri rahmatullah alayhi, he says that the goodness of the character is that you have a cheerful face and you have that magnanimity. Yani, you spend, and that you don't give any harm to people. وَقَالَ الْوَاسِطِيُّ هُوَ أَلَّا يُخَاصِمُ وَلَا يُخَاصَمَ من شدة معرفته بالله تعالى. Like he says, Al-Wasiti, he has written that good character is that you should not argue with anybody or be argued with by anyone because of one's firm knowledge of Allah Ta'ala's. So people know that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is in control. So if somebody tries to come and try to talk to me in a way that it will become an argumentation, he said, he'll just leave it. Because, Allah Ta'ala is in control, so Allah Ta'ala wants me to act in a certain way. So rather than getting into that argumentation, I'll just leave that side and just move on. So he says, Wasti says this is good character. وَقَالَ شَاء الْكَرْمَانِي هُوَ كُفُّ الْأَذَى وَاحْتِمَالِ الْمُؤْنِ. Shah al-Karmani said, it is to do no harm and to endure harm instead. Yani rather than harming other people, which is totally bad, but rather if other people want to harm you, you just take that harm on yourself. This is good character. وَقَالَ بَعْدُهُمْ هُوَ أَنْ يَكُونَ مِنَ النَّاسِ قَرِيبًا وَفِيمَ بَيْنَهُمْ غَرِيبًا. He says that somebody said that it is that one should be friendly to people, but remain a stranger in their midst. That one should be good, friendly, but remain a stranger. Yani don't be very close to people so that, it crosses a certain bound and then you actually start harming people. I'll tell you one thing. Normally people harm other people when they cross limits. So there should always be a little gap. Even if you're very close to people, there should always be a little gap. Even with your wives and your husbands. I can tell you that. When people have crossed these limits, then kahin na kuch garbad hogi. You will definitely harm. Either you will talk in a way that's like too frank, and then you will actually make fun of her, or she will make fun of you, and that will harm the person, even without even you knowing it. So there should always be that little gap of izzat, of honor, that you don't cross that so that you maintain the honor of the other person. So you are friendly, but you still are a stranger in the midst of that. So then he says, وَقَالَ الْوَاسْطِي مَرَّةً هُوَ إِرْضَاءُ الْخُلُقِ فِي السَّرَّاءِ وَالضَّرَّاءِ. So Wasti, rahmatullah alayhi, he also says at another place that the goodness of character is to please people secretly and in the public. Yani to just make sure that everybody gets benefit from you wherever. Either you're in secret, yani in isolation, or you're in the public. He said this is a good character. وقالوا أبو عثمان هو الرضا عن الله تعالى. Abu Usman rahmatullah alayhi said it is to be content with the taqdeer, with the destiny of Allah Ta'ala. Yani whatever Allah Ta'ala has bestowed upon me, I'm happy with that. Less wealth, more wealth. Poverty or richness. Sickness or health. Whatever Allah Ta'ala has given me, I'm content. Abu Usman rahmatullah alayhi says this is good character. وَسُئِلَ سَهْلُ الْتَسْتَرِي عَنْ حُسْنِ الْخُلُقِ فَقَالَ أَدْنَاهُ الْإِحْتِمَالُ وَتَرْكُ الْمُكَافَاتِ وَرَحْمَةُ لِلظَّالِمِ وَالْإِسْتِغْفَارُ لَهُ وَالشَّفَقَةُ عَلَيْهِ. Sahal al-Tustari rahmatullah alayhi once asked about good character. He replied that it is the least degree in tolerance. It is the least degree in tolerance, seeking no reward,
and compassion and pity for the person who does wrong, and asking Allah Ta'ala's forgiveness for them. Yani who oppresses you, first of all, you feel bad about them. That, he has become a zalim, so he is actually he's wronging himself. You feel bad about that person and actually make istighfar for them. This is good character. وَقَالَ مَرَّةً أَلَّا يَتَّهِمَ الْحَقَّ فِي الرِّزْقِ وَيَثِقُ بِهِ وَيَسْكُنُ إِلَى الْوَفَاءِ بِمَا ضَمِنَ فَيُطِيعُهُ وَلَا يَعْصِيهِ فِي جَمِيعِ الْأُمُورِ فِيمَا بَيْنَهُ وَفِيمَا بَيْنَهُ وَبَيْنَ النَّاسِ. And he also once said that it is that you do not direct accusations at your Lord concerning your rizq, your sustenance, and that you trust in Him, being confident that He shall provide that which He has guaranteed you. It is that you obey Him and do not transgress against Him in any of your affairs, both in that which is between you and Him and that which takes place between you and the mankind. This is good character. Yani you do not, kabhi bhi koi shikayat na ho Allah Ta'ala se. Never have any accusation to Allah Ta'ala. Whatever Allah Ta'ala has written for you is best for me. Never complain, why don't I get this much? Why do other people have that? And whatever He is giving me is good for me, and that, whatever is written for me is guaranteed for me, it will always come, definitely will come, etc. So he says, this is good character. وقال علي رضي الله تعالى عنه حسن الخلق في ثلاث خصال اجتناب المحارم وطلب الحلال والتوسعة على العيال. Sayyidina Ali رضي الله تعالى عنه كرم الله وجهه, he says that good character consists in three traits, in three things. Number one, avoiding which is forbidden. Avoiding which is forbidden, the haram things, absolutely. Seeking that which is permitted, so go for halal things. And number three, being generous to your family. Being generous to your family. Sayyidina Ali says, this is good character. This is something, by the way, that people don't understand that. People would spend at all the places, but the people that they will not spend on is their family. What a pity. People don't understand the best charity that you can do is on your own family, on your wife, and on your children. This is the best charity. People spend on their parents, people spend in madaris, in masajid, to poor people. People spend on their relatives, on their nieces and their nephews and their brothers and their sisters, but who they forget is their own wife and their own children. Subhanallah. It is good to spend. Inshallah, we'll talk about that. This is one of the things that is part of the good character. It starts, charity begins at home. First person that you should spend on is your wife and your children. This is the best charity that you can give. So Sayyidina Ali says, this is a good character. وقال الحسين بن منصور هو ألا يؤثر فيك جفاء الخلق بعد مطالعة للحق. Sayyid bin Hussein bin Mansur, he says that you should be unaffected by the harshness of mankind after being beheld the truth. Yani, once you have haqq, then don't worry about what the people are doing. Yani, خُذِ الْعَفْوَ وَأْمُرْ بِالْعُرْفِ وَعَارِضْ عَنِ الْجَاهِلِينَ, as we did this morning. So this is good character. وقال أبو سعيد الخراز هو ألا يكون لك هم غير الله تعالى, or هم. And Abu Sa'id al-Kharraz says that good character is that you should have no concern but for Allah Ta'ala. Yani all what you are thinking about is Allah. That's it. Log kuch kehte hain, nahi kehte, who cares? They praise you, who cares? They insult you, who cares? My concern is Allah. I'm to people according to, what Allah Ta'ala has asked me to do, and that's it. This is good character. So it says, فَهَذَا وَأَمْثَالُهُ كَثِيرٌ, and these are the examples and other examples like that. فَهُوَ تَعَرُّضُ لِثَمَرَاتِ حُسْنِ الْخُلُقِ. They're only talking about the fruits that it bears. That's all what it is talking about. And all of these people have spoken about goodness of character, but these are just the fruits of the good character. لَا لِنَفْسِهِ, it's not the reality of goodness of the character. ثُمَّ لَيْسَ هُوَ مُحِيطًا بِجَمِيعِ الثَّمَرَاتِ. It also does not cover all of the fruits of the goodness of character. أيضا وَكَشْفُ الْغِطَاءِ عَنِ الْحَقِيقَةِ أَوْلَى مِنْ نَقْلِ الْأَقَاوِيلِ الْمُخْتَلِفَةِ. And he says that that to unveil the true nature of the goodness of character is more important than to just cite various sayings on this matter. And he says we shall proceed with our discourse as follows. So now he starts with his own writing. He says that I will try to shed some light on what in reality the goodness of character is. So he says, فَنَقُولُ, we say, الْخَلْقُ وَالْخُلُقُ إِعْبَارَتان مُسْتَعْمَلَتَانِ مَعًا. That there are two words that are used. Number one, al-khalq and al-khuluq. Khalq means creation, the outward being, outward form, and wal-khuluq, and the inward form, the heart, the form of the heart, yani the character. He says there are two ibaratan musta'malatani ma'an. They are used together. يُقَالُ فُلَانٌ حُسْنُ الْخَلْقِ وَالْخُلُقِ. It is said, sometimes it's used together as well. It is said that such and such person, he has husnul khalq and husnul khuluq. Yani he is good from outward and he is good in his character. Ay husnul batini wa zahiri. Yani he has the beauty of the outward and he has the beauty of the inward. For yuradu bil khalqi as-suratu zahiratu. وَيُرَادُ بِالْخُلُقِ بِالْخُلُقِ السُّورَةُ الْبَاطِنَةُ. It says that the meaning of khalq is the zahiri surat, the outward face, or the outward being. And وَيُرَادُ بِالْخُلُقِ, and with the khuluq, it means السُّورَةُ الْبَاطِنَةُ, yani the inward face, the inside of people. وَذَلِكَ لِأَنَّ الْإِنسَانَ مُرَكَّبٌ or مَرْكَبٌ مِنْ جَسَدٍ مُدْرِكٍ. He says because a human being is a murakkab, is made up of min jasadin mudrikin bil basari. It is made up out of a body that is seen through the eyes. With the eyes. Yani we all see each other with our eyes, but what do we see? The outward. How do you look like? Right? This says that insan is a murakkab, is a compound of number one, jasadin mudrikin bil basari. It's jasad, the body that is seen with the eyes. وَمِنْ رُوحٍ وَنَفْسٍ مُدْرِكٍ بِالْبَصِيرَةِ. And he is also has another thing which people often forget about. Which is what? His ruh and his nafs. His ruh and his nafs, mudrikin bil basirati, but that can be seen with the basira. That can be seen with the basira. What is basira? Basira is the inner sight. It's the inner sight. There is basar and there is basira. Basar is the outward eyes. Basira is the inside. Or the inward side, inner side. Subhanallah. You know, there's a hadith of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He says that ittaqu firasat al-mu'min fa innahu yanduru bi nurillah. That fear the firasa of a believer because he sees with the light of Allah. What is that light of Allah? Basira, the sight of the heart. I've told you that incident, right? Once Sayyidina Ali radiallahu ta'ala anhu, in the time of the caliphate of Sayyidina Umar radiallahu ta'ala anhu, he saw a dream. He saw a dream that he prayed Fajr behind Sayyidina Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And he was very happy in the dream, saw Sayyidina Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam leading the Fajr prayer, and he's praying behind him. And he prayed a certain surah in the first rakat, and he prayed another surah in the second rakat. After the prayer was over, Sayyidina Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam turned his blessed face towards the muqtadis, towards the followers. And when he was sitting, a woman came in the masjid and she brought a bag of dates. And she gave those dates to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam ate one, and then he asked all of the muqtadis and sort of counted, and everybody got a share of two dates each. So he gave it to everybody. Sayyidina Ali also came and he gave him 2 dates, and as soon as he got the 2 dates, he woke up. Now he was so happy. He saw Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam in his dream. he couldn't sleep after that. So the time of Fajr came. So he went to the masjid where Sayyidina Umar was leading the prayers. So the Umar radiallahu ta'ala anhu, he led the Fajr prayer, and subhanallah, he recited the same surah that Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam recited in the first rakat, and he recited the same surah that Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam recited in the second rakat. And after the prayer was over, Sayyidina Umar radiallahu ta'ala, he turned his blessed face towards the Muqtadis and he sat. And subhanallah, a woman came in. And she brought a bag of dates. And Sayyidina Umar, he ate one and he called everybody and gave everybody 2 dates each. Sayyidina Ali came, his turn. And he came and Sayyidina Umar gave him 2 dates and he ate one. It was so sweet. He said, Ya Amirul Mu'mineen, can I have another one? So he said that if Prophet ﷺ had given you another one, I would have given you another one. Subhanallah. This is basirat. This is basirat. Ittaqu firasat al-mu'min. Fear that firasat, that inner sight of a believer, a true believer, of a wali of Allah. فَإِنَّهُ يَنْظُرُ بِنُورِ اللَّهِ. Because he sees with the light of Allah. So this is what he is saying, that this ruh, this nafs can be seen with the inner side, with the basira. Normally people don't see. All what they see is with their two outer, with the basar. So al-insanu markabun min jasadin mudrikin bil basari. He's made up of a body that is seen with the basar, with the eyes. وَمِن ruhin wa nafsin. And the ruh and the nafs mudrikin bil basirati. That is seen with the basirat. وَلِكُلِّ وَاحِدٍ مِّنْهُمَا هَيْئَةٌ وَصُورَةٌ. And both of them has a shape and a face. Has a shape and a form. إِمَّا قَبِيحَةٌ وَإِمَّا جَمِيلَةٌ. Either it is ugly or it is beautiful. فَالنَّفْسُ الْمُدْرِكَةُ بِالْبَصِيرَةِ أَعْزَمُ قَدْرًا مِنَ الْجَسَدِ الْمُدْرِكِ بِالْبَصَرِ. He says that this nafs, or the ruh, that is seen with the basirat, it is higher than the body that is seen with the basar, with the sight. وَلِذَلِكَ أَظَّمَ اللَّهُ أَمْرَهُ بِإِضَافَتِهِ إِلَيْهِ إِذْ قَالَ تَعَالَى. And that he says that is the reason that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has actually had tied it, or he has connected it towards himself. When he says in the Quran, what does it say? إِنِّي خَالِقٌ بشرا من طين فإذا سويته ونفخت فيه من روحي فقعوا له ساجدين. SubhanAllah. He says that Allah Ta'ala says that I shall create a man from dust, from clay. And then when I have fashioned him, فإذا سويته ونفخت فيه, and I have breathed in it from my ruh. فَقَعُوا لَهُ سَاجِدِينَ. And then you should all fall down before him in the sajda. Talking about Sayyidina Adam alayhi salam. Yani Allah Ta'ala, when he spoke about the body, what did he say? It is from clay. When he said about ruh, where is it from? From me. He said that is azam. That's greater. It has an honor. It is a respect. And that's why Allah Ta'ala has associated that بِإِضَافَةِ إِلَيْهِ. Then he has done the izafat, he's connected that to him, his own self. فَنَبَّهَ عَلَىٰ أَنَّ الْجَسَدَ مَنْسُوبٌ إِلَى الطِّينِ وَالرُّوحُ إِلَى رَبِّ الْعَالَمِينَ. He said that, no, that in this text, Allah Ta'ala has said that the body is ascribed to clay, ila teen wa ruhu, and the ruh ila rabbil alamin, to the Lord of to the worlds. Wal muradu bil ruhi wal nafsi fi hadha al maqami wahid. So he is clearing that sometimes he's using the word ruh and sometimes he's using the word nafs. He's saying that I mean the same thing here. I mean the same thing. It's a deep discussion, by the way. But I'll just tell you a little bit so that you can get familiarized with what it is. Yesterday we were talking about that there are two things. وَنَفْسٍ وَمَا سَوَّاهَا فَأَلْهَمَهَا فُجُورَهَا وَتَقْوَاهَا قَدْ أَفْلَهَا مَنْ زَكَّاهَا. That by the nafs, The word that he uses, nafs. By the nafs, who has created it, that he has is put in it, the knowledge of the good and the bad, and he is successful. قَدْ أَفْلَهَ مَنْ زَكَّاهَا, who has purified what? The nafs. Right? And the second ayat that we spoke about yesterday was يَوْمَ لَا يَنْفَعُ مَالٌ وَلَا بَنُونَ, that on the day of judgment nothing will benefit, neither wealth nor children, إِلَّا مَنْ أَتَى اللَّهَ بِقَلْبٍ سَلِيمٍ, except who comes to Allah Ta'ala with a sound heart. So, yani, the heart being clean, the heart being purified. On the other side we are using the nafs being purified. Right? In reality, these are the same things. Because the heart is the center of the ruh. We're not talking about this physical heart that beats how many times? Dr. Saab, can I get up, sir? जी, कितनी दफा धड़कता है दिल? एक मिनट में.
Depends करता है, लेकिन adults का जो है almost 70-75.
Almost 70-75. Adults. And old people like myself. More or less, whatever. We're not talking about that heart. We're talking about the spiritual heart. That heart that Allah Ta'ala wants as a gift from the believers. يَوْمَ لَا يَنْفَعُ مَالٌ وَلَا بَنُونَ إِلَّا مَنْ أَتَى اللَّهَ بِقَلْبٍ سَلِيمٍ. But this spiritual heart is the center of the ruh. And the nafs is in the body. But when we purify the nafs, we actually purify the heart. And when we purify the heart, we actually purify the nafs. They're tied together. Because the diseases are the common diseases. So when we purify the diseases, in reality, we are purifying the both. So we are suppressing the nafs and we are elevating the ruh. By cleaning, by getting rid of the diseases of the heart. So this is what he's saying. وَالْمُرَادُ بِالرُّوحِ وَالنَّفْسِ فِي هَذَا الْمَقَامِ وَاحِدٌ. I mean the same thing. It doesn't matter if you say purification of the nafs, or you say purification of the ruh, or the purification of the heart. It's the same thing. It doesn't matter. This is what's maqsood. This is what the goal is. The purification of the heart. In other words, what is the end result? What is the end result? Good character. This is what we are talking about. Wake up. I know that some people are dozing off. So he says that the human beings are made up of two things. One, the jasad, the body, and two, the ruh, or the nafs. Right? And the jasad can be seen with the basar, and the ruh or the nafs can be seen with the basira. So he said, فَالْخُلُقُ عِبَارَةٌ and he said everything has a hayya and a surah, yani has a shape and a form, both of them. And they can be ugly and they can be beautiful. فَالْخُلُقُ عِبَارَةٌ عَنْ هَيْئَةٍ فِي النَّفْسِ راسخة عنها تصدر الأفعال بسهولة ويسر من غير حاجة إلى فكر. So he says that, now understand the definition of khuluq, yani good character. فالخلق عبارة عن هيئة في النفس راسخة عنها تصدر الأفعال بسهولة ويسر من غير حاجة إلى فكر. Beautiful. He said, understand that what is character. He says character is defined as a firmly established condition of the soul, of the ruh, of the nafs, from which actions proceed easily without any need for thinking or having any forethought. I repeat, character is a firmly established surah or hayat, a form, a condition, firmly established form of the ruh from which actions proceed easily without any need for thinking or having any forethought. Yani it's within you, it's just immersed in you. And he says that من خير حاجة إلى فكر ورؤية وإلى فكر ورؤية إلى يعني for having any fikr or ru'ya or any thought. فإن كانت الهيئة بحيث تصدر عنها الأفعال الجميلة المحمودة عقلا وشرعا سميت تلك الهيئة خلقا حسنا. He says that if this condition is disposed towards the production of beautiful and praiseworthy deeds, as these are acknowledged by the Sharia, by the sacred law and the intellect, it is termed as good character. وإن كان الصادر عنها الأفعال القبيحة سميت الهيئة التي هي المصدر خلقا سيئا. And if we describe this condition, he says that if the ugly acts proceed from it, then the condition is known as a bad character. So what does it mean? He says that there is a form. So what did he say? That the character is an firmly established condition, a surat, a haya, a form of the soul. He says, and from which the actions are come out without any need of a thinking or any forethought. So he says, if these actions that come out are according to Sharia and are intellectually good, then it will be called as a good character. But if they're bad, then they will be called a bad character. Now he says that وَإِنَّمَا قُلْنَا إِنَّهَا هَيْئَةٌ رَاسِخَةٌ لِأَنَّ مَنْ يَسْتُرُ مِنْهُ بَذْلُ الْمَالِ عَلَى النُّذُورِ لِحَاجَةٍ عَارِضَةٍ لَا يُقَالُ خُلُقُهُ السَّخَاءُ مَا لَمْ يَثْبُتْ ذَلِكَ فِي نَفْسِهِ ثبوت رخوص وإنما اشترطنا أن تصدر منه الأفعال بسهولة من غير رؤية لأن من تكلف بذل المال أو السكوت عند الغضب بجهد ورؤية لا يقال خلقه السخاء والحلم. So he says that the reason that I put the condition of a firmly established condition, yani firmly established form of the soul. Why did I say that? He said, for example, if in some certain conditions there is a person who gives out a lot of wealth. In a certain condition, there's a person who gives out a lot of wealth. He will not be called a sakhi. He will not be called a generous man. Until that generosity is in his nafs, is firmly established in his nafs. And he says that the reason that I put the condition that these actions are easily come out without any need of thinking or forethought is that to feel that pain in spending the wealth is not generosity. And without any pain, to control your anger is not hilm. Because khuluq is that which is done without any pain. Samajh mein aa rahi hai? He's saying that character is only called a character, good character, if it is in there. Yani you don't have to do any takleef for that. You don't have to go through any pain to do that. Agar paal kharch karna ho, there is a need, then if you want to spend and don't feel any pain, you feel good about it and it just comes out easily. You don't have to just think, oh, should I give, should I not? Oh, I have 100,000 dirhams in my bank. If I spend 20,000, it'll be 80,000. And then you're thinking 20 times and then you give, and you later on come back, I should have given just 10, it had become 80. Right? This is not sakhawat. This is not generosity because it is a pain and you are thinking so much. He said this is not called sakhawat. Or if somebody comes to you and he says you something and you get so angry and just about to hit him, but then you control yourself. If I hit him, then the police will come. It's not him. It's not him. You're not the one who has forbearance. He said that's why I said that this is firmly established surat, hayat, form of your soul, and through which the actions come out easily. Asani se amal ho jaye usse. Baghair soche samjhe. Understood? So he said this is what the character is. And it can be good or the bad. So then he says, فَهَا هُنَا أَرْبَعُةُ أُمُورٍ. there are 4 things. Here, there are 4 things. Number one, أحدها فعل الجميل. For an action to be good, والقبيح or bad. So for action to be good or bad by itself, number 1. Number 2, والثاني, القدرة عليهما. To have qudra, the power to do either of them. Yani to do a good action or a bad action. والثالث, the third, المعرفة بهما. To have the knowledge of the two. To have the understanding that this is a good action, this is a bad action. This is the third thing. والرابع, the fourth one, هيئة للنفس بها تميل إلى أحد الجانبين ويتيسر عليها أحد الأمرين إما الحسن وإما القبيح. And the fourth thing he says is that to have that form in yourself, in your nafs, that can get diverted to either one of them, either to the good action or the bad action, and it becomes easy for him. Alright, so he said there are 4 things that are mentioned here. He said, وَلَيْسَ الْخُلُقُ عِبَارَةٌ عَلِ الْفِعْلِ. He said the khuluq character is not fail, is not action. فَرُبَّ شَخْصٍ خُلُقُهُ السَّخَاءُ وَلَا يَبْذُلُ إِمَّا لِفَقْدِ الْمَالِ أَوْ لِمَانِعٍ. He says that it is not action. Character is not about action. He says that it is a possibility there is somebody who is very generous man. Lekin, he cannot just spend because he doesn't have money. Right? Person can be generous person, but because he doesn't have money, he cannot spend, so it doesn't mean his generosity is gone. No, it is in his character. It is not about action. A person's character is there, established in his ruh, in his nafs, and it is not about doing any action. The character is within ourselves, in our ruh. He says, well, he cannot spend because of the lack of wealth or for any other stopper. Maybe, I want to spend, but somebody has this stick on top of my head. The wife wants to spend, but the husband, khabardar, right? There are husbands like these as well. MashaAllah. But doesn't mean that she is not generous. وَرُبَّمَا يَكُونُ خُلُقُهُ الْبُخْلُ وَهُوَ يَبْذُلُ إِمَّا لِبَعِثٍ أَوْ لِرِيَاءٍ. He says that, and it's also a possibility that the person is in reality stingy, he's bakhil, but he spends to show off. Doesn't make it generous. No. The side of Allah is not, in any way is not generous. He is bakhil, but he's spending just for something, for show off or for any other reasons. And then he says, وَلَيْسَ هُوَ عِبَارَةٌ عَلِ الْقُوَّةِ. And that's also not about having the control over the action. لِأَنَّ نِسْبَةَ الْقُوَّةِ إِلَى الْإِمْسَاكِ وَالْإِعْتَاءِ بَلْ إِلَى الضُّدَّيْنِ وَاحِدٌ وَكُلُّ إِنسَانٍ خُلِقَ بِالْفِطْرَةِ قَادِرٌ عَلَى الْإِعْتَاءِ وَالْإِمْسَاكِ. He's saying it is not also about having control over doing some actions. He says because a person has a equal control on giving and holding. He has equal control. For example, 10,000 dirhams. Allah Ta'ala has given me control on both. I can spend it or I can hold it. Allah Ta'ala has given qudrat to that. Right? So people have been given the control over both things. So it's also not about having control or not having control. And he says that, and Allah, every human being, fitratan, by nature, has been given this qudrat of giving or not giving. And having a qudrat, having a power, having a control, does not mean that he will be either a generous or a stingy man. Right? And then he says, and similarly, وَذَلِكَ لَا يُوجِبُ خُلُقُ الْنَيْ. Can't get it. وذلك لا يجب خلق البخل ولا خلق السخاء وليس هو عبارة عن المعرفة. And similarly, it is not also, character is not also about having ma'rifah, having understanding. فإن المعرفة تتعلق بالجميل والقبيح جميعا على وجه واحد. He says it is not also about having understanding, knowing, because the knowing, the knowledge of the beautiful character and the bad, ugly character, it is all understood from the same means. Right? Also, everybody can have the understanding of the good and the bad character as well. It is in Shariah. You can read it, you can know it, you can sit with a sheikh and you can understand all of that. He said, بل هو عبارة عن المعنى الرابع وهو الهيئة التي بها تستعد النفس لأن يصدر منها الإمساك أو البذل فالخلق إذن عبارة عن هيئة النفس وصورتها الباطنة. So that he says in reality, character is about that fourth thing that we mentioned, yani, it is that name of that form through which a person is strong or a person is consistent in either being, a generous man or a stingy man. Now, then he says, وَكَمَا أَنَّ حُسْنَ السُّورَةِ الظَّاهِرَةُ مُطْلَقًا لَا يُتِمُّ بِحُسْنِ الْعَيْنَيْنِ دُولِ الْأَنْفِ وَالْفَمِ وَالْخَدِّ بَلْ لَا بُدَّ مِنْ حُسْنِ الْجَمِيلِ لِيُتِمَّ حُسْنُ الظَّاهِرِ. He says that just like the outward beauty is not only the beauty of the eyes. Yani if somebody has a face, everybody has a face, but somebody's eyes are beautiful. He says that you won't call that person a beautiful person just because his eyes are, or her eyes are beautiful. But beauty is how should I say that? Beauty is to have all of the arkan, yani an, fam, khad, like the eyes, the nose, the ears, the lips, the cheeks. He said all of them in proportion, jazakumullah. In proportional manner is beauty. Right? Beauty is not only the beauty of the eyes. If all the features of the face, like the nose, the lips, the cheeks, all of them are in proportion, that is called beauty. Right? And the beauty of the zahir is perfected through all of them. Right? So he says, فَكَذَلِكَ فِي الْبَاطِنِ أَرْبَعَةُ أَرْكَانٍ. And similarly for the batin, for the inward, there are 4 pillars. لَا بُدَّ مِنَ الْحُسْنِ فِي جَمِيعِهَا. The only way that a person will have a beautiful character will be having all of them. حَتَّى يَتِمَّ حُسْنُ الْخُلُقِ. Until he will get the beautiful character. فَإِذَا اسْتَوَتِ الْأَرْكَانُ الْأَرْبَعَةُ وَاعْتَدَلَتْ وَتَنَاسَبَتْ حَصَلَ حُسْنُ الْخُلُقِ. And when he will get the proportion of all of them, then he will be known as a person, or he will have achieved the goodness of the character. And these 4 things are as follows. وَهُوَ, number 1, قُوَّةُ الْعِلْمِ. قُوَّةُ الْعِلْمِ, the power of knowledge. Number 2, وَقُوَّةُ الْغَضَبِ, and the power of anger. وَقُوَّةُ الشَّهْوَةِ, and the power of desires. وَقُوَّةُ الْعَدْلِ بَيْنَ هَذِهِ الْقُوَّةِ الثَّلَاثِ, and the power of doing justice or maintaining that in a just form, and to maintaining all the other 3 quwwahs in a just form is the 4th one. I repeat, number 1, قُوَّةُ الْعِلْمِ, قُوَّةُ الْغَضَبِ, قُوَّةُ الشَّهْوَةِ, and قُوَّةُ الْعَدْلِ بَيْنَ هَذِهِ الْقُوَّةِ الثَّلَاثِ. And the power of knowledge, the power of anger, the power of desires, and the power of the justice between all of the other 3. These are the 4 arkan. If there is a proportion between all of these 4, then the person will be known as a person of good character. Then he explains all of them. He says, أَمَّا قُوَّةُ الْعِلْمِ فَحُسْنُهَا وَصَلَاهُهَا فِي أَن تَصِيرَ بِحَيْثُ يَسْهُلُ بِهَا دَرْكُ الْفَرْقِ بَيْنَ الصِّدْقِ وَالْكَذْبِ فِي الْأَقْوَالِ وَبَيْنَ الْحَقِّ وَالْبَاطِلِ فِي الْاعْتِقَادِ وَبَيْنَ الْجَمِيلِ وَالْقَبِيحِ فِي الْأَفْعَالِ. فإذا صلحت هذه القوة حصل منها ثمرة الحكمة وَالْحِكْمَةُ رَأْسُ الْإِخْلَاقِ أَخْلَاقِ الْحَسَنَةِ وَهِيَ الَّتِي قَالَ اللَّهُ فِيهَا وَمَنْ يُؤْتَ الْحِكْمَةَ فَقَدْ أُوتِيَ خَيْرًا كَثِيرًا. Subhanallah. He says that the beauty of the quwwat of the ilm, the power of the knowledge, and it's, so the beauty of it, or the virtue of it is that through this, people will get truth. Nine. He says that people are able to distinguish between the lies and the truth. And in one's belief, the haqq and the batil, the truth and the falsehood. And in their af'al, in their actions, they are able to identify between the good and the ugly things. If people are able to identify between these two, this is what comes out. Basically, this is what is gotten by the quwwat of the ilm. And he says when the quwwat of the ilm, the power of this knowledge will become of that degree, yani he is able to identify in his speech as to what is lie and what is the truth. He is able to identify that what is in his belief, what is the haqq and what is the batil, what is the right thing, what is the wrong thing. And in his actions, he is able to identify that this is the right action, this is the bad action. When the quwwat of the ilm will become of that degree, then the result, the fruit of it is hikmat, the wisdom. The fruit of it is the wisdom. And he says that the reality of all the goodness of the character is wisdom. And this is what Allah Ta'ala says in the Quran, وَمَنْ يُؤْتَ الْحِكْمَةَ فَقَدْ أُوتِيَ خَيْرًا كَثِيرًا. Whoever is granted wisdom, indeed he has been granted a vast goodness. जिसको हिकमत दे दी जाती है, उसको खैर कसीर अता कर दी जाती है. This is what it is. It says that hikmat in reality is the fruit of the perfection of the quwwat of the ilm. When people have this knowledge and that knowledge gets to that degree that they can identify what you are saying, if it's true, lie or the truth, or what you have believed in, if it is haqq or the batil, if it is the truth or the false aqidah, or in your actions, if you're able to identify that if it's an ugly action or a beautiful action, this, if it reaches that degree that you are able to identify all of that, this is called hikmat, wisdom. And this is what Allah Ta'ala says in the Quran, وَمَنْ يُؤْتِ الْحِكْمَةَ فَقَدْ أُوتِيَ خَيْرًا كَثِيرًا. And then he says, وَأَمَّا قُوَّةُ الْغَضَبِ فَحُسْنُهَا في أن يصير انقباضها وانبساطها على حد ما تقتضيه الحكمة وكذلك الشهوة حسنها وصلاحها في أن تكون تحت إشارة الحكمة. He's saying that, in fact, in reality, he's saying, talking about both the quwwat of the ghadab and the quwwat of the shahwat. He said, regarding that, the quwwat of the ghadab, the anger, or it can be said that irascible faculty, yani the irascible faculty, yani the quwwat through which you actually control yourself. Shouldn't be saying that. Let's keep it, yani the quwwat of the ghadab as an anger. He says that it is sound, or its husn, its beauty is when the movements of it lie within the bounds that are required by the hikmat, by the wisdom. And similarly, the quwwat of the shahwat, of the desires, the appetitive faculty, is sound and good when it's under the command of the wisdom. Yani both. Both the quwwat of the ghadab and the quwwat of the shahwat, they are beautiful when they are under the control of the hikmat. Yani they walk within the aql and the sharia. And then he says, يعني أعني إشارة العقل والشرع. يعني it walks on the ishara, on the control of the aql and the sharia. Alright? وأما قوة العدل. As far as the قوة of adl, يعني the justice that maintains all the other three quwwats together in the right balance, فهو ضبط الشهوة والغضب تحت إشارة العقل والشرع. It is that quwwat that actually controls the quwwat of the shahwat and the ghadab. It actually, the quwwat of the adl is that controls the quwwat of the shahwat and the ghadab under the commands of the aql and the sharia. So that is in reality, so I'll repeat that to make it simple. Number one, he says that there are four quwwats. One, ilm. Two, ghadab. Three, shahwat. Number four, adl, justice. So knowledge, anger, desires, and one that controls the three. The adl keeps the justice between, or keeps a balance between all three. So there are four arkan in the character of the people. So he's saying that ilm is something that let people know of what is right and wrong in saying, in their actions, in their aqidah. And the best form of that is hikmah, is the wisdom. Then he says that the quwwat and the ghadab and the shahwat both, their beauty comes when they are under the control of the aql or the hikmat, and they fall under the category of, or they are done within the bounds of shariat and the aql, right? So that's where they become beautiful. What keeps them within that is the adl. What keeps them within that bounds is adl, the quwwat of the adl. Alright? That keeps them within the bounds of the aql and the shariat. Understand? So say these are the four arkan, the pillars of the character. And then he says, وَالْأَقْلُ مِثَالُهُ مِثَالُ النَّاسِهِ الْمُشِيرِ. He says that the example of the aql is like, he's a nasih mushir, yani he's a counselor. The aql is like a counselor, وَقُوَّةُ الْعَدْلِ هِيَ الْقُدْرَةُ. And adl has that power. So aql, what it does, it gives the counseling, mashwara. This is what you should be done. And then the quwwat of the adl, that is maintaining the whole balance, it is the one that's controlling everything. Alright? He says, وَمِثَالُهَا مِثَالُ الْمُنْفِذِ الْمَمْدِ لِإِشَارَةِ الْعَقْلِ. He says, he gives an example. He said the example of it is like a hunting dog. Like a hunting dog. And he says that which needs to be trained. Nine. G. So he said, وَمِثَالُهَا مِثَالُ الْمُنْفِذِ الْمُمْدِ لِإِشَارَةِ الْعَقْلِ وَالْغَضَبُ هُوَ الَّذِي تَنْفُذُ فِيهِ الْإِشَارَةُ. So I've already explained that. He said that as I've explained that I'm trying to gather my words. What I'm saying, so what he said is that the intellect is like a mushir, and the adl, the quwwat of the adl, it is actually implementing those mashwaras. And the ghadab and the shahwat, the ghadab is that quwwat which is supposed to be implemented according to the mashwara or the power or the order of the aql. So we have already explained that. Now he is saying, وَمِثَالُهُ مِثَالُ كَلْبِ الصَّيْدِ. An example is like a hunting dog. فَإِنَّهُ يَحْتَاجُ إِلَىٰ أَنْ يُؤَدَّبَ حَتَّى يَكُونَ إِسْتِرْسَالُهُ فَتَوَقُّفُهُ بِحَسْبِ الْإِشَارَةِ لَا بِحَسْبِ هَجَانِ شَهْوَةِ النَّفْسِ. He's saying that the example is like a hunting dog, that it needs to be trained. It needs to be trained. And after it is trained, it becomes like that it will not move without the order of the person who is hunting. What do you call it? The person who hunts? Hunter. So he's saying the example is like a dog, a hunting dog, that it needs to be trained, and after it is trained, that dog will not move without the ishara, without the hukam, without the order of the hunter. And it will not move forward and it will not move backward. Right? And then he says, وَالشَّهْبَةُ مِثَالُهَا مِثَالُ الْفَرْسِ. And the example of the shahwa, the desire, is like a horse. الَّذِي يُرْكَبُ فِي طَلَبِ الصَّيْدِ. That is ridden for the talabu sayd, like for looking out for a prey. فَإِنَّهُ تَارَةً يَكُونُ مُرُودًا مُؤَدَّبًا وَتَارَةً يَكُونُ جُمُوهًا وَمِسْتَوْتَ فِيهِ هَذُا الْخِصَالُ وَأَعْتَدَلَتْهُ حُسْنُ الْخُلُقِ مُطْلَقًا. So he's saying that the shahwat is like a horse that you ride it to in order to hunt the prey. And sometimes the horse is trained, and sometimes it's untrained. So through the quwwat of the adl, the shahwat is kept in the bounds. Otherwise, sometimes what happens is that he is himself prey. G. And then he says, ومن اعتدل فيه بعدها دون البعد فهو حسن الخلق بالإضافة إلى ذلك المعنى خاصة كالذي يحسن بعد أجزائه وجهه دون بعد وحسن القوة. He's saying that if people don't have all of these four things, yani don't have i'tidal, people don't have that balance, and some are balanced, the others are imbalanced, then he will only be called having good character in that one thing. That's it. For example, if somebody has beautiful eyes and the other organs are not good, then what he will call? Oh, he has beautiful eyes. It won't be said he's beautiful. It will be said he has beautiful eyes or she has beautiful eyes. It won't be said that she or he is beautiful as a person. And the other azah, the other body parts or other body parts will be considered as ugly as compared to that particular body part that is beautiful. Alright? So now he says that وَحُسْنُ الْقُوَّةِ الْغَضَبِيَّةِ وَإِعْتِدَالُهَا يُعَبَّرُ عَنْهُ بِالشَّجَاعَةِ. So remember, what are we searching for? The i'tidal in all of these quwwats. The adl, the justice in all of these quwwats. Yani quwwatul ilm, quwwatul ghadab, quwwatul shahwat. He's saying that the beauty of the quwwat of the ghadab and its balance, i'tidal, is called as shuja'a. It's called as shuja'a. Yani, courage. وَحُسْنُ قُوَّةِ الشَّهْوَةِ وَإِعْتِدَالُهَا يُعَبَّرُ عَنْهُ بِالْعِفَّةِ. And the beauty and the justice of the quwwat of the shahwat of the desires is called iffat. Iffa. Yani, temperance. فَإِنْ مَالَتْ قُوَّةُ الْغَضَبِ عَنِ الْإِعْتِدَالِ إِلَى طَرْفِ الزِّيَادَةِ تُسَمَّى تُهُوًّرًا. If the quwwat of the ghadab, it moves away from its balance, from its i'tidal, towards the excessive of it, then it is called the huwaran, yani recklessness. وَإِنْ مَالَتْ إِلَى الضَّعْفِ وَالنُّقْصَانِ تُسَمَّى جُبُنًا وَخَوْرًا. And if it moves towards the lesser degree, and it comes out of the balance, the just place, and it moves down to the negative, then it is called jubun, yani being covered, buzdil, wa khur. Khur is actually mean, इसको उर्दू में कहते हैं नामर्दी, यानी इंसान कहते हैं ना मर्द बनो. क्या मतलब? What does it mean? Be man. Yani be strong. Be brave. Right? If there's a dog walking on the street and you are very scared of going on the street, say, Mard bano. Let's move. Right? It's a very common term that is used. What does it mean? It means that be strong, be brave. What are you doing? So this is what khur is. That if this quwwat of ghadab, it goes down from its i'tidal, then it is called cowardice. Right? And it is called jubnan wa khawran. Yani it is the lack of that strength. When malat quwwat ash-shahwati ila tarf az-ziyadati. If the quwwat of the desire, shahwat, it goes to the excessive side, to samma sharahan. It is called sharah. Or It's called sharah. وَإِنْ مَالَتْ إِلَى النُّقْصَانِ تُسَمَّى جَمُودًا. And if it is, basically, shara means cupidity. If it is moved towards the excessive side, it's called cupidity. What's the synonym of cupidity? Huh? Is there a synonym for that? I looked into the dictionary. It says cupidity means a strong desire. A very strong desire. Right? There's a word in English for that. Makes sense, right? If it goes out of the i'tidal towards the excessive side, it is called cupidity. Yani a very strong desire. First of all, understand, shahwat is not the one shahwat that people know of. Shahwat is the desire for anything. For food, for drink, for wealth, for possessions, for the natural desires, all of that. They're all shahwat. They're all included in the shahwat. So it is known if it moves from its just level to the excessive side, it is called sharah. Tusamma sharahan. Cupidity. وَإِنْ مَالَتْ إِلَى النُّقْصَانِ تُسَمَّى جُمُودًا. And if it goes like at the lower side, it is called jumud, yani indifference. وَالْمَحْمُودُ هُوَ الْوَسْطُ وَهُوَ الْفَضِيلَةُ. He says what is required is the balance, the center, the just part of it, and that is better. وَالطَّرَفَانِ رَذِيلَتَانِ مَذْمُومَتَانِ. And both of the sides, yani the excessive side and the negative side, they are the razail, yani they are the bad characters. They are not liked. They're not liked. وَالْعَدْلُ إِذَا فَاتَ فَلَيْسَ لَهُ طَرْفًا زِيَادَةً وَنُقْصَانٌ بَلْ لَهُ ضِدٌّ وَاحِدٌ وَمُقَابِلٌ وَهُوَ الْجَوْرُ. He says that adl, and the justice, the quwwatul adl, when it falls out to any of the sides, yani it becomes excessive or it becomes negative in other side, he says there is nothing like that. He says there is no, basically he's saying there is no the excessive side and there is no negative side of adl. What would be the excessive or the negative side of adl? Adl is defined as to keep it in the balance. He says there is no positive or the negative side of it. It's just like it has one side. But he says it has an opposite. وَهُوَ الْجَوْرُ. That is jawr, yani zulm. Oppression. Yani if you don't keep your other quwwat in balance, then you are a zalim. You are a zalim person. It's called jawr. وَأَمَّا الْحِكْمَةُ فَيُسَمَّى إِفْرَاطُهَا عِنْدَ الْإِسْتِعْمَالِ فِي الْإِخْرَاجِ الْفَاسِدَةِ خُبْثًا وَجَرْبَزَةً فَيُسَمَّى تَفْرِيطُهَا بَلَهًا. He says that the quwwat of the ilm, the i'tidal was called what? We did that? The quwwat of ilm. Hikmah. The justice of the quwwat of the ilm was hikmah. And he says that if we use that hikmah in the wrong direction, then it is to take it out of that, like i'tidal, of that balance. And if that istimal, the use of the hikmah to the excessive side, it is called khubus and it is called jarbaza. Yani khubus means somebody's khabis. What do you call that? What do you say in English? He's a khabis. Huh? It's called swindling. And it is also cheating, fraud. Right? Khubusun wa jarbazatun. He is like khubus, yani he is a swindle, wa jarbazatun is also called fraud, cheating. Wa yusamma tafriduha, and if that balance is not maintained, yani the hikmah that is being given, it is used in the negative side. If you don't use it much, although you are given the hikmah, but you don't use it, yani you less use it, then it is called balahan, yani stupidity. Wal wastu هو الذي يختص باسم الحكمة. The middle part is named as hikmat. فإذا أمهات الأخلاق وأصولها أربعة. So he said, now he's summarizing it. So know that these are all the pillars of akhlaq, of the character and his principles. And his principles are four. Number one, yani in reality now with all of these quwwats, the four quwwat of ilm, of ghadab, of shahwat and the adl, he says that in reality, the four pillars of the akhlaq are what? Number one, so what we are trying to maintain is the justice of all of those, the balance of all of those. So what is the result? Number one, hikmat. Number two, shaja'ah. Number three, iffa. And number four, adl. Alright? He said these are the four main pillars of anybody's character. And that is the balance of all the four quwwats that everybody has been given. Alright? Understanding? Right? So, and what is the result? If you try to maintain all the four quwwats in balance, you get hikmat, you get shuja'at, you get iffat, and you get the adl. And then he says that وَنَعْنِي بِالْحِكْمَةِ حَالَةٌ لِلنَّفْسِ بِهَا يُدْرَكُ الصَّوَابُ مِنَ الْخَطَأِ فِي جَمِيعِ الْأَفْعَالِ اِخْتِيَارِيَةِ. He says what I mean by hikmat is the halat of the nafs, is the state of the nafs, with which it will be able to understand the truth or the reality of the mistake or from the shortcomings in all of the actions that are done with the ikhtiyar, yani that are done purposely. وَنَعْنِي بِالْعَدْلِ, and what I mean by adl, حَالَةً لِلنَّفْسِ وَقُوَّةً بِهَا تَسُوسُ الْغَضَبَ وَالشَّهْوَةَ وَتَحْمِلُهَا عَلَى مُقْتَدَى الْحِكْمَةِ وَتَضْبِطُهُمَا فِي الْإِسْتِرْسَالِ وَالْإِنْقِبَادِ عَلى حَسْبِ مُقْتَدَاهَا. And he says that by adl, yani justice, it is a condition and that potency in the soul by which it controls the expansion and the contraction of the anger and the desire as directed by wisdom. And then he says, وَنَعْنِ بِالشَّجَاعَةِ كَوْنَ قُوَّةِ الْغَضَبِ مُنْقَادَةً لِلْعَقْلِ فِي إِقْدَامِهَا وَإِحْجَامِهَا. He says that by shaja'ah, yani by courage, we refer to the subjection of that it's very deep, my friends. So he says that with the shuja'a mean that you keep the quwwat of the ghadab under the control of the aql. Yani in making sure that again it is in the balance, that it doesn't proceed further or it doesn't fall back. وَنَعْنِي بِالْإِفَّةِ, and by iffa, yani he says we mean تَأَدُّبَ قُوَّةِ الشَّهْوَةِ بِتَعْدِيبِ الْعَقْلِ وَالشَّرْعِ. He says by iffa, again he's just repeating that, he's just trying to tell us again that by iffa it is that we keep the quwwat of the shahwat within the bounds by the control of the aql and the sharia. فمن اعتدال هذه الأصول الأربعة تصدر الأخلاق الجميلة. He says that when we have i'tidal, a just, a balance in these four usul, these four principles, then people will have beautiful character. كلها is من اعتدال قوة العقل يحصل حسن التدبير وجودة الذهن وثقافة الرأي وإصابة الظن وتفطن للدقائق الأعمال وخفايا آفات النفوس ومن أطرافها تستر الجربزة والمكر والخداع والدهاء. I'll just go to the end of all of this. So basically now he's saying that in reality these are the four principles. So he says that when there is an imbalance in these, he says when we have the equilibrium, the justice, the balance of all of these four, then people will have good character. But if we don't, then he says when the intellect, the quwwatul ilm, it's balanced, it will bring forth as an offshoot the discretion, husnul tadbir, and the excellence of discernment, yani jawdatul zihin, and the penetration of the thought, thaqabatul ra'i, and the correctness of conjecture, yani isabatul dhan, and an understanding of the subtle implications of action and the hidden defects of the soul. He said that all comes with the balanced quwwatul ilm, yani with the truth, with the hikmah. And when it's imbalanced, yani when it is excess, imbalanced in the direction of the excess, then he says, then what will come as a result? He says, al-jarbadatu wal-makru wal-khida'u wal-daha'u, yani cunning, swindling, deception, and slyness. And he said when this is in defect and it goes into negative, then what will come? Al-balahu wal-ghamaratu wal-humuqu wal-jununu, stupidity, inexperience, foolishness, heedlessness, and insanity. And then he says, what do I mean by al-ghamara? Al-ani bil-ghamarati qillati tajribati fil umuri ma'a salamati takhayyuli. He says that by inexperience, I mean an insufficient experience, which is nonetheless combined with sound understanding. And if people have understanding, but they don't have any sufficient experience to implement that. He said a man may be inexperienced in one matter and not in another. And then he says the difference between stupidity and insanity is that the intention of the stupid man is sound, only his means of realizing it are defective, since he is not possessed of a correct understanding of how to follow the way leading to his goal. And he says the madman, on the other hand, chooses that which should not be chosen, so that basis of his decisions and preferences is flawed. And then he says, for the courage, as far as the courage goes, if people have the shuja'a, he says when it is balanced, what does it give? Nobility, karam, najda, yani intrepidity, manliness, shahama, greatness of the soul, ihtimal, clemency, hilm, yani forbearance, steadfastness, thabat, the suppression of the rage, qazmul ghayz, waqar, dignity, affection, and other such praiseworthy qualities. And he says when it's unbalanced, when it's in excess, what will it give? Tahawwur, yani recklessness, arrogance, conceit, yani bust, quickness to anger, and pride, takabbur, and vainglory, ujab. He says they all come when the quwwatul ghadab goes in excess. And he said when it goes down to, it becomes defective, yani it goes to the negative, then mahana, ignominy, self-abasement, zilla, yani cowardice, jaza. He said meanness, khasasa, lack of resolution, sigar nafs, and holding oneself back from doing what is right and obligatory. It is what comes when it goes in negative. And then he said when the quwwatul shahwa, with that, when people have that in the balance, what does it give? Sakha, generosity, modesty, haya, patience, sabr, tolerance, musamaha, contentedness with one's lot, yani qina, and, wit, helping others, cheerfulness, zarf, and absence of craving, qillat al-tam'. He said all of these come when people have a balanced quwwatul shahwa. And you see when it goes toward the excess or defect, then greed, here, stupidity, sharh, obscenity, waqaha, all of that result. And you said also spite, extravagance, stinginess, ostentation, immorality, obscenity, triviality, flattery, envy, malice, self-abasement, disdain, self-abasement before the rich and disdain for the poor and so on. All of these come with the excess or the defect of quwwatul shahwa. Really, see what's happening? Yani, all of the problems of the character of the people are in reality are the offshoot of these four. Ilm, shahwat, ghadab, and lack of balance between the three. All of the problems of the character of the people are in reality offshoot of this. When it's maintained, people have good character. When it goes in excess or goes in the negative, then people will have a bad character. Both. Excess or the defect. Alright? So, So he says, so I'm going to page number 11. فَأُمَّهَاتُ مَحَاسِنِ الْأَخْلَاقِ, the second paragraph starts. هَذِهِ الْفَضَائِلُ الْأَرْبَعَةِ. So again, he is just reminding people so that it gets firmly rooted in the hearts of the people. That the ummahat, the fundamentals of mahasin al-akhlaq, of the noble traits of character are these four fadail, are these four virtues. Namely, وَهِيَ الْحِكْمَةُ وَالشَّجَاعَةُ وَالْعِفَّةُ وَالْعَدْلُ. وَالْبَاقِي فُرُوءُهَا. All the rest are his branches. وَلَمْ يَبْلُغْ كمال الاعتدال في هذه الأربع إلا رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم. He said that nobody has been able to achieve all of them to its perfection except the Messenger of Allah صلى الله عليه وسلم. والناس بعده متفاوتون في القرب والبعد منه. فكل من قرب منه في هذه الأخلاق فهو قريب من الله تعالى بقدر قربه من رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم. He said other people are away with different degrees. Yani some are closer to these, some are far from these. He says that if people are, whoever is closer to these traits, as they are closer to these traits, the perfect traits of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, he is that closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. As simple as that. As simple as that. If people have the closeness, nobody can be perfect. Everybody will have their faults. Har bande ke paas koi na koi masla rahega. Nobody will get the perfection in all of these. But whoever will be the closest, he will be the closest to Allah ta'ala as well. We are all human beings. We all slip. We all have our shortcomings. But we must try. We must try to our level best to be as close as possible to all of these traits. And the more you are closer to all of these traits, the more closer you are to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He says that وَكُلُّ مَنْ جَمَعَ كَمَالِ هذه الأخلاق استحق أن يكون بين الخلق ملكا مطاعا يرجع الخلق كلهم إليه. Subhanallah. He says that whoever combines within himself all of these traits is worthy to be a powerful king amongst men, whom all creatures must submit to and follow in all their deeds. إليه ويقتدون به في جميع الأفعال. ومن انفك عن هذه الأخلاق كلها واتصف بأضدادها استحق أن يخرج من بين البلاد والعباد فإنه قد قرب من الشيطان اللعين المبعد. He says that likewise he is deprived of all of these qualities and acquires their opposite, deserve to be expelled from all the lands and all the peoples. Because he has become close to the accused and banished shaitan. And he should be banished as shaitan was banished. إذ كما أن الأول قريب من الملك المقرب فينبغي أن يقتدى به ويتقرب إليه فإن رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم لم يبعث إلا ليتمم مكارم الأخلاق كما قال بعثت لأتمم مكارم الأخلاق. He said, because just as the former, who has tried to achieve the perfection of all of this character, is close to the king, who is close to Allah Ta'ala, and who should therefore be emulated and drawn close to, because the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam was sent only to perfect noble character. إِنَّمَا بُعِثْتُ لِأُتَمِّمَ مَكَارِمَ الْأَخْلَاقِ. I am only sent to perfect noble character. That's the only purpose of the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. تقدم في آداب الصحبة وقد أشار القرآن إلى هذه الأخلاق في أوصاف المؤمنين فقال تعالى إنما المؤمنون الذين آمنوا بالله ورسوله ثم لم يرتابوا وجاهدوا بأموالهم وأنفسهم في سبيل الله أولئك هم الصادقون. He says that Quran has referred to these qualities. Now please be open, just open your minds. I know that is too much. I know the minds get tired when you try to absorb all of this deep stuff. They can throw it there. 5 minutes. Understand this. We have understood all what we have tried to understand, at least. He says that Quran has also referred to these qualities when describing the moral qualities of the believers. What did Allah Ta'ala say? إِنَّمَا الْمُؤْمِنُونَ Believers are who? الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا بِاللَّهِ وَرَسُولِهِ ثُمَّ لَمْ يَرْتَابُوا. The believers are those who have faith in Allah Ta'ala and His Messenger, and then they did not doubt. ثُمَّ لَمْ يَرْتَابُوا وَجَاهَدُوا بِأَمْوَالِهِمْ وَأَنفُسِهِمْ. And they struggle with their wealth and with their lives. فِي سَبِيلِ اللَّهِ, in the path of Allah. أُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الصَّادِقُونَ. They are the sincere people. They are the truthful people. So what did Allah Ta'ala saying? Who are the believers? Who believe in Allah and Messenger without any doubt, and they struggle with their wealth and their lives in the path of Allah. They are the truthful people. They are the sincere people. So he says that فَالْإِيمَانُ بِاللَّهِ وَبِرَسُولِهِ مِنْ غَيْرِ إِرْتِيَابٍ هُوَ قُوَّةُ الْيَقِينِ وَهُوَ ثَمَرَةُ الْعَقْلِ. That having this iman in Allah and Messenger without having any doubt is the quwwat, is the strength of yaqeen, the certainty, and that is the fruit of aql. Quwwatul ilm. Wa muntaha al-hikmatu. And its ending, its perfection is wisdom. Wal mujahadatu bil mal. What did Allah Ta'ala say is the second? Wajahadu bi amwalihim. They struggle with their wealth. And wal mujahadatu bil mali was sakha'u. And somebody struggles with their wealth, it is sakha, is generosity. هو الذي يرجع إلى ضبط قوة الشهوة. And that can only be achieved when people actually are able to control the quwwah of their desires. Yani people don't have that greed. They control their desires, and the end result is sakhawa, is sakha, is generosity. Right? Second, so first, Allah Ta'ala says, إِنَّمَا الْمُؤْمِنُونَ الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا بِاللَّهِ وَرَسُولِهِ ثُمَّ لَمْ يَرْتَابُوا. Number one, this is the result of the quwwat of the ilm. The second, وَجَاهَدُوا بِأَمْوَالِهِمْ. And they struggle with their wealth. This is as a result of the quwwah of the shahwa, yani keeping it in balance. وَأَنفُسِهِمْ. The third is, وَالْمُجَاهَدَةُ بِالنَّفْسِ هِيَ شُجَاعَةُ. And struggling with one's own life is courage. It's شجاعة. التي ترجع إلى استعمال قوة الغضب على شرط العقل. And that only is maintained by using the quwwah of غضب على شرط العقل. And you are good fighting. You have to have that, quwwah of غضب, but keeping it within the bound of the aql. And sharia, وحد الاعتدال, within the i'tidal, the balance, the justice. فَقَدْ وَصَفَ اللَّهُ تَعَالَى الصَّحَابَةَ. And that's why Allah Ta'ala has spoken about the Sahaba. He has praised the Sahaba, and He said, أَشِدَّاءُ عَلَى الْكُفَّارِ رُحَمَاءُ بَيْنَهُمْ. That they are strong on the disbelievers, they are merciful amongst themselves. What is happening? قُوَّةُ الْغَضَبِ in i'tidal. In i'tidal. إشارة إلى أن للشدة موضعا وللرحمة موضعا. Yani it is an ishara that the shiddat, yani ashidda'u al-kuffar, strength, the strongness, and the rahmat, they have their own place. فَلَيْسَ الْكَمَالُ فِي الشِّدَّةِ بِكُلِّ حَالٍ وَلَا فِي الرَّحْمَةِ بِكُلِّ حَالٍ. It is not that a person has that strong head, or has mercy in all the hal, in all the states. What we need to do is to, he's trying to explain that when I say that using quwwatul ghadab, ala shart al-aql, on the condition of the aql will decide. Now is everything coming into place. right? It says that it has to be used within the ishara of the aql and the sharia. Remember? This is what it means. That when it is time to be strong-headed, be strong-headed. When it's time to be merciful, rahim, you become merciful. This is what it means. And when you use it according to the aql and the sharia in the balanced state, that's what is the attribute of the believers. إنما المؤمنون الذين آمنوا بالله ورسوله ثم لم يرتابوا وجاهدوا بأموالهم وأنفسهم في سبيل الله أولئك هم الصادقون. They are the truthful, sincere believers. Subhanallah. فهذا بيان معنى الخلق وحسنه وقبحه. He says that was the whole discussion about the reality, the meanings of the character, the good of it and the bad of it. وبيان أركانه وثمراته وفروعه, and that was the explanation of its pillars and its fruits and its branches. Beautiful, subhanallah, amazing. Subhanallah, a person of insight can understand all of that. That's what I said in the very beginning. It's not easy. It's very difficult. Because, subhanallah, it is just ilhami thing, right? It's just from Allah. But subhanallah, He has actually spoken about the depth of a human being. This is what in reality a human being is. So this is what you need to work on. Yani the quwwat of ilm, and the quwwat of ghadab, and the quwwat of shahwat, and having justice in all of quwwat al-adl. Once you have the balance in all of these four, your character will become the character as required by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And this is our goal, to work on these. There's no other purpose of our life, my friends. There is no other purpose. إِنَّمَا بَعِثْتُ لِأُتَمِّمَ مَكَارِمَ الْأَخْلَاقِ. This is the only reason for the Prophet coming into this dunya. This is the only goal of our life. قَدْ أَفْلَهَ مَنْ زَكَّاهَا يَوْمَ لَا يَنْفَعُ مَالٌ وَلَا بَنُونَ إِلَّا مَنْ أَتَى اللَّهَ بِقَلْبٍ سَلِيمٍ. That's all what it is about. This life. Kuch nahi hai aur zindagi. Let's not waste it. It's not something that we just, waste sitting in front of our TV screen and watching Hollywoods and Bollywoods. Subhanallah. That's the worst part is like a nosedive of the character. It's a nosedive of the character. And what did he say in the beginning? If people do not work on their hearts, what will happen? Narullahi al-muqada allati tattali'u al-afida. That their destiny is the fire that Allah Ta'ala has created. It will hit the hearts. Why? He never worked on your hearts. It will hit the hearts. May Allah Ta'ala protect us from that state. Wa akhiru da'wana alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. When is the next session? Sorry.